There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage as the pass.
Very disappointed that it ended the way it did.
This to an open Travis Kelce, who flings it back over to Toney.
A bit embarrassing in the National Football League for that to take place.
My goodness, this is going for a touchdown.
And I can't believe it. I think it's coming back.
Number 19, offense.
Toney was lined up.
Got to be kidding me.
In the neutral zone. So
this whole thing is crazy. To see him go nuts like that.
Your teammate cost you that game because of an elementary school mistake.
That's elementary school. We talk about, I mean, you point to the ref, do all that different type of stuff. I mean, I've played 7 years and never had offensive offsides called.
You can't even see the ball from the sideline. He's so far over the ball.
Yeah.
And they mad at the official for calling it.
Well, the Chiefs just lost their 4th game out of the last 6 in a pretty exciting matchup against the Buffalo Bills. However, the ending of this game sent Mahomes into a frenzy and even had Andy Reid saying some things that was pretty out of character after the game. So let's get into this recap featuring main takeaways, a look at the quote-unquote controversial ending call that negated a wild play by Travis Kelce that has everybody still freaking out, and more. But first, how about those? All right, before we dig into this game recap, while the Chiefs did lose again, there were some nice takeaways from this game, or positives if you want to look at it that way. Rookie safety Chamari Connor had his first career INT. The team came out of this game relatively healthy with no real injury updates being reported. Karlaftis got another sack and now has 9 on the season, which leads the team. Wanya Morris looked great out there at left tackle, considering it was his first ever NFL start. CEH played a decent game, stepping up for an injured Pacheco. Nick Bolton looked really nice out there in his first game back from IR. L'Jarius Sneed and company held Stephon Diggs to just 4 catches for 24 yards, and honestly, I thought the Chiefs offense played a better game overall than some of their games prior, even though they obviously didn't come away with the W. On top of that, the rookie, Rashee Rice, had another nice outing as well in spite of a fumble. Travis Kelce is him. Then the Chiefs defense continues to shine, holding the 5th best scoring offense in the NFL to 7 points under their season average, which is now 26.8, and the Chiefs defense is still the 3rd best scoring defense in the entire league, allowing just 17.5 points per game. Then Harrison Butker remains perfect on the season still, not missing a single PAT or field goal. KC's offense also went 50% on 3rd downs. Mahomes was only sacked once and played a pretty nice game outside of that INT, and they were also 2 for 3 in the red zone. So all in all, there were some definite positives in this game, though of course this isn't a segment on moral victories, as the Chiefs ultimately lost at home to a Bills team that was better than their 6-6 record, now 7-6 record showed. The biggest issue for me was KC only managing to put up 7 points in the first half, and they once again shot themselves in the foot, both feet maybe, on offense, turning the ball over twice, which is less than ideal. And despite the Chiefs defense keeping Josh Allen and company to 6 for 15 on 3rd downs, 1 for 2 in the red zone, and holding them to just 20 points total, the offense once again wasn't able to get enough points on the board to get it done. The Chiefs were also penalized 7 times for 45 yards on the night, and with that, they've now trailed in the 4th quarter in all 5 of their losses, 4 of them with a chance to win near the end of the game, and haven't been able to muster a 4th quarter comeback in any one of those. And from here, we got to dive into this game, which included a controversial, sorta, kinda, not really to some, ending that left Mahomes furious. But first, I got to thank the sponsor of today's video, Bear Mattress, the longest active sponsor of the channel that makes premium fiberglass-free mattresses customized to the way you sleep and shipped right to your front door. On top of that, they have a lot of great end-of-year sales going on, so head over to bearmattress.com/HBTC for more details after you're done watching this video. I personally have been using their mattress for over a year now, and it still gives me the same high quality sleep I got when I first started using it, which is clutch because I'm still dealing with some of these pesky back issues, and I've been sleeping fantastic. I personally am a back sleeper who likes a medium firmness in my mattress, but my wife sleeps on her stomach and prefers a mattress that is more firm. So after taking their online quiz, we were matched with the elite hybrid mattress that would benefit us both, and after ordering, they shipped it right to our front door, and from there, we threw out our old mattress. You can see why. Took the new mattress into our room, unboxed it, unrolled it, and boom! We officially upgraded our sleep quality. You see, Bear's sleep recovery technology uses a Celiant-powered fabric to help you stay cool throughout the night, and all mattresses are GreenGuard Gold certified, Certi Pure US certified, and EcoFlex fiberglass free. Trust me, it's essentially as safe and reliable as a Mahomes to Kelce touchdown. And just like in my experience months, Bear delivers a mattress right to your door in a box with free shipping in the US, and it's super easy to set up yourself. They also have a 120-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it, and if you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. And if that wasn't enough, Bear mattresses have a lifetime warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I certainly love my quality of sleep with Bear mattress, and I think you will too. So if you're looking to upgrade your sleep, just go to bearmattress.com/HBTC for 35% off a Bear mattress for a limited time during their extended Cyber Week sale. All right, here we go with the game recap, which started out with the Bills winning the toss, opting to defer, and gave the Chiefs the ball to open the game. And honestly, KC moved the ball pretty well on the opening drive, with CEH starting due to Pacheco being ruled out with the shoulder issue. Kelce and Toney also got involved pretty early, with Toney spinning around for a near first down, and a couple of plays later, he took a handoff out of the backfield, something he's been used a bit more of as of late and has done a pretty good job at. And with KC driving down the field, all we hope for is a clean drive with no turnovers, please. But sadly, on 2nd and 5, Mahomes went to throw a screen pass that was batted up and caught by the same guy, AJ Epineza, a guy who leads the league actually in batted passes, getting another one on that play that resulted in another turnover for Kansas City this season. The Chiefs defense held strong though, not allowing the Bills to convert on this 3rd and 9, and KC's offense got the ball back after just 4 plays there from the Bills, but they weren't able to do much with that opportunity after this nice catch and run from CEH, then a solid run by him to move the chains again, but Mahomes then took his one and only sack of the game on 3rd and 7, resulting in the first of 4 punts for Kansas City. In fact, the Chiefs would actually punt 2 more times on their next 2 drives, with the Bills on the other hand scoring 2 touchdowns on both of their next drives. Buffalo's first TD drive featured a first down catch from Dawson Knox, then running back James Cook caught a wide open TD pass to finish the drive, and Cook honestly cooked this game, rushing 10 times for 58 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, and then was also the team's leading receiver, catching 5 passes for 83 yards. And Josh Allen said after the game, with Stephon Diggs getting double teamed quite a bit during the game, it created some favorable matchups for Cook and allowed some nice receptions from him. Anyway, from there, the Chiefs immediately went 3 and out, going a total of 2 whole yards after a Rashee Rice target was close to being picked. Then MVS jumped off sides, and on 3rd and 12, no dice via a McKinnon checkdown. And after a punt, Justin Reed nearly got his hands on the ball for an INT, but James Cook caught another solid pass up the sideline for 27. Chris Jones nearly got to Allen shortly after, and after an Allen scramble on 3rd down, the Bills went for it on 4th and 1, and honestly, Josh Allen just made some freaking magic happen here with a nice sidearm flick for the first down, and Josh Allen then basically got tush-pushed on a scramble up the middle for another score, kind of like Pacheco the week prior, quickly making the game 14-0. So things started out sketch for KC early on, as well as the next drive after a couple penalties and an incomplete pass to Richie James resulted in a long 3rd and 18. But thank God Travis Kelce exists, as Mahomes scrambled to create time and threw across the field to Kelce for 23 yards and a first down. Justin Watson then had a solid catch up the right sideline, but Kadarius Toney had a tough drop on 2nd and 12 to make it 3rd and 12. Then Mahomes and MVS were not on the same page on 3rd down, an issue that has continued to happen all season long, and the Chiefs then had to punt the ball back to Buffalo. Then, after Karlaftis sacked Allen, his 9th on the season by the way, to back them up a bit, a spark was created there that was carried over on 3rd and 4 as the rookie safety Chamari Connor picked off Josh Allen to give KC the ball right back with roughly 3.5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. This gave the Chiefs favorable field position, and after a Kelce first down, the Chiefs were facing a long 1st and 25 after Creed was flagged for holding, and Jawan Taylor, surprise, surprise, got a false start penalty, but Rashee Rice had a favorable game the next play. Then Toney helped bring it to a manageable 3rd and 1, with Richie James helping move the chains on a quick pass. McKinnon then had a couple of nice plays, including this run into the end zone for the Chiefs' first score of the game, and he proceeded to then do bench presses on top of Creed Humphrey, which was fantastic. The defense then held strong, not allowing the Bills to score by halftime by keeping them just out of field goal range and having to attempt a Hail Mary because they had no timeouts left. Well, they then put Kelce in the end zone, and the Hail Mary was unsuccessful thanks to several, along with Nick Bolton for knocking it to the ground, and the score was 7-14, Chiefs trailing by a score. However, the Bills got the ball back to start the third quarter, and James Cook was cooking once again on this drive. He ran the ball 4 straight times for 35 yards. Nick Bolton then had a great tackle for loss, which helped set up a 3rd and long that Buffalo couldn't overcome, even though Chris Jones got flagged for a neutral zone infraction, and they settled for 3, which brought the score up to 17 Buffalo, 7 KC. MVS got involved early the next drive for 15 yards. Travis Kelce next, with Kelce getting involved a few plays later for 22 more yards after McKinnon helped move the chains on 3rd and 1. Next up, it was the rookie Rashee Rice's time to shine, catching a quick pass here, and then the very next play catching one in the back of the end zone for his 6th TD pass of the season. Let's freaking go, Rashee. So then you have a 3-point game with the defense making some great plays like Snead with this PBU on 3rd and 3, which forced an immediate 3 and out. And this was KC's time to either tie it up or go ahead for the first time all game long, but unfortunately, Rashee Rice did fumble the ball, to which Buffalo recovered. Boo. No worries though, because the Chiefs defense forced another Bills 3 and out, giving KC the ball right back to the Chiefs as Richie James cooked up a nice punt return, bringing them up near their own 40. Then in typical Mahomes-like fashion, he immediately went back to Rice after fumbling the last drive to give him a boost of confidence. A few plays later, CEH had an electric screen pass go up the right sideline as he leaped the defender, which is crazy considering Clyde is like 4'11". But alas, after that, the offense sadly sputtered a bit and ended up having to settle for 3, but it did tie the game up at 17 with 11 minutes left in the 4th quarter. After this, the Chiefs defense held strong again after just 6 plays, but not after this doozy of a catch and fumble by Latavius Murray. Josh Allen was in bounds and Murray's catch was ruled as a fumble, though it was pretty quick. I thought it was incomplete. Andy Reid even challenged the ruling on the field of a catch unsuccessfully, which would have made it 4th down, I believe, but they ruled it a fumble. That was knocked out of bounds. A few plays later, though, the Chiefs were able to force a clutch punt after Josh Allen and company couldn't get it done due to multiple flags being thrown, which backed Buffalo up. Then on 3rd and 27, Charles Omenihu got home, and that made it 4th in L'Jarius Snead. Yes, 4th and 38, and Buffalo had to punt. Sadly, though, the Chiefs went 3 and out, giving the ball right back to the Bills with 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Buffalo then matriculated the ball down the field with a couple of runs, draining the clock after a huge 3rd down conversion by Hardy for 25 yards. Where the Bills then messed up, though, in my opinion, was close to the 2-minute warning. They threw a pass on 2nd and 10, resulting in an incompletion, with Allen getting sacked on 3rd down, but not so fast because Jalen Watson got flagged, which resulted in a 1st down, though this is where the Bills kind of messed up here. They kept throwing passes, resulting in incompletions, and that stopped the clock, taking basically nothing off of it, and the Chiefs got the ball back with just under 2 minutes remaining after Buffalo did kick a field goal, which brought them up by 3, 20-17, and that then takes us to the infamous ending drive where everything went insane. MVS caught a quick pass for 7 yards to get out of bounds, and Rashee Rice caught an incredible pass from Mahomes for 19 up the right side, which helped move the chains, and then on 2nd and 10, Mahomes lofted a beautiful 25-yard pass up to Kelce, who turned upfield for some extra yards, and like an absolute lunatic, Kelce threw a backwards pass, a literal, unplanned but perfect spiral into the awaiting arms of Kadarius Toney, who took it to the house. Everybody went nuts, and that would have had the Chiefs up by 4 with just over a minute left, though the Bills would have had all 3 timeouts with a chance to either tie it, take it into OT, or win the game. But Kadarius Toney was flagged for offensive offsides. You can see right here on the screen, ref throws the flag because of it. The play doesn't count, and we all know how it ends, with the Chiefs facing 4th and 15 a few plays later, and Patrick threw a pass in the direction of Kelce on this 4th and 15, but sadly, they weren't on the same page, which resulted in a turnover on downs, and then Patrick Mahomes proceeded to lose his absolute mind. Yeah, he definitely broke out of his typically composed character, slamming his helmet down, and then proceeded to scream and yell at the sideline official who ended up throwing that flag, and was still so heated about it that his interaction with Josh Allen after the game involved Mahomes even mentioning it to Josh and walking around cursing, saying what a terrible blank call it was. Then after the game, he spoke to the media for most of his presser about it, saying he's been in the league for 7 years and has never once seen his team flagged for offensive offsides. Well, Mahomes was right, and in fact, the last time that the Chiefs were actually flagged for offensive offsides was back when I was 4 years old, 1995. This was called on Jeff Criswell, I believe, Week 7 of the 1995 season. And to further illustrate how little this penalty has been called on an Andy Reid coached team since he's been a head coach, this graphic here shows that Andy Reid has coached 25,172 offensive plays as a head coach and has only been flagged 1 time for offensive offsides ever, and that was last night. Now, the broadcast mentioned that the league has been trying to enforce the issue of offensive offsides more often this season, with, I believe, 0 penalties like this being called from 2016 to 2019, then only once in 2021, twice in 2022, but this year, 12 times now so far through 14 weeks. However, Nick Wright pointed out today on First Things First that 8 of those 11 calls are on failed tush-push plays where offensive lineman either jumps or is out in front of it. And prior to last night, this was only called on wide receivers twice in games all year, with Toney being just the third. So it definitely happens, just very rarely. And by now, you've seen the graphic or the coach's film that does indeed show Toney lining up slightly in front of the ball. It's a penalty for sure, but what was so frustrating to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes was that typically when a ref sees an issue like this from a player on either side of the ball, offense or defense, in a game, the ref will go up to the head coach and let him know. And Andy Reid said throughout the years, he prides himself on then immediately going to the player in question to let them know about the issue so they can get it corrected and limit their chances of actually getting flagged for it. Well, Andy wasn't warned about this at all in the Bills game, even though we found out later this evening from Dan Orlovsky that Toney had been lining up very close to the ball, the line of scrimmage, on multiple plays throughout the game.
So is he offsides on that final play? Yeah, he probably is. But he was 3, 4, 5 other times in that game. So it's incumbent upon the officials in that situation to make sure he gets warned, because that final play happened multiple times within that football game.
So yeah, that's why Mahomes and Andy Reid seem to be so upset about it all. Now, in Andy Reid's presser today, he said that even though it's normal for a wide receiver to walk up to the line, look at the side ref to make sure you're lined up correctly, and even check in with them about it if needed, Toney did not do that on this play. And there was some footage that surfaced appearing to have Toney checking in with the side ref about it, but Geoff Schwartz, an NFL veteran, former NFL veteran, pointed out that Toney wasn't checking with the official. He was acknowledging that he's the player lined up on the ball, and that if he really wanted to check, he'd have waited or asked for a response to his alignment like Rashee Rice does right here. You can see on the coach's film, Rice is lined up on the opposite side of him on this play, and you can see him checking with the official about his alignment. Okay, so we can clearly see that Toney didn't do his due diligence here and did line up a bit too far, so a flag is justified. One that Carl Cheffers said after the game in his pool report that ultimately it's on the players to line up correctly and no warning is required if it's bad enough. He also said he doesn't know if the refs warned anyone prior about Toney's alignment earlier in the game, but we can confirm from Andy Reid and Mahomes that the answer is indeed and that video by Dan Orlovsky shows that Toney had been lining up very close to the ball on multiple plays. And if it was a bit too close for the officials' liking, Andy Reid would have loved a warning, as that's how it's worked between him and the officials over his 20-plus years as a head coach in the NFL. So there's the deal and what's going on. Mahomes and Andy were upset with the officials for giving no warnings at all and throwing a flag at that point in the game, with Mahomes noting in his post-game presser that it's a pre-snap penalty that doesn't affect the outcome of a play at all. But again, ultimately a flag was thrown because Toney was a bit offsides, blocking the officials' view of the ball, and therefore that negated a wild, one of the craziest plays I've ever seen by Travis Kelce, who freaking threw a spiral to Kadarius Toney, and Toney then housed it, and that ultimately helped result in a Chiefs L, though again, that is not to me the primary reason why the Chiefs lost this game. After all, they had a few more plays even after that to get the job done and couldn't do it. And because of Mahomes' antics after the game, Ian Rappaport said today that Mahomes' post-game comments will be reviewed and his on-field comments while cameras were rolling and present may be more of an issue, which means a fine is definitely incoming. And honestly, Andy Reid could maybe have a fine coming his way as well, though Mahomes' will definitely be steeper and is the more likely of the two. And today, Andy and Mahomes both spoke to the media. Mahomes actually spoke with Carrington Harrison of 610 Sports, but Andy said there are no excuses or blame on the officials for blowing the game or anything like that. That's not what he was saying about the refs last night in his presser. He actually said it was a bit of an embarrassment that things played out like they did with him not getting warned. It's more about the relationship between a team and the ref. He then detailed what I've already mentioned about the refs typically warning coaches about those kinds of issues first. And after Big Red said that Toney didn't check in with the officials about where he lined up, it's on himself to make it a teaching point for Toney. And I can almost promise you this, I doubt we see that happen from Toney going forward. Although, to be fair, I've said the same thing about Jawan Taylor, and he is still getting flagged for false starts and is the most flagged player in the NFL currently. Now, as far as what Mahomes said in his interview on 610 Sports about it, he said that he's seen a little bit of the footage of him reacting, but has tried to stay away from it. He just cares so much about the game and his teammates and got caught up in the moment, but he ultimately shouldn't have reacted that way. Quote, can't do that. Can't be that way towards officials or anybody. But more than anything, I regret the way I acted towards Josh after the game because he had nothing to do with it. I was still hot and emotional, but you can't do that, man. It's not a great example for kids watching the game. So I was more upset about that than I was about me reacting on the sideline. Patrick then went on to say that when you talk about refs or say stuff at them, it's not a good thing, which is why he tries to stay away from it and basically hasn't done anything even close to that his entire career. But he did say that you always have to face the consequences of your action, and he's here to accept that, whether it's a fine or whatever the league decides to do. And with all that being said, I hope this brings a little bit of clarity on the situation surrounding the end of game craziness, but am definitely curious to read your thoughts on it as well. Do you think the ref did make the right call, but like me, are a bit confused why there was no warning issued to Andy about Toney at any point in the game because he had been lining up like that on several different plays? Or do you simply think, nah, this should have never been called, and this is the main reason why the Chiefs lost the game because the refs have it out for them, the game is rigged, etc.? And while I don't personally believe that, if you do, that's fine, I guess. Either way, I can understand Chiefs Kingdom's frustration about officiating because even though the majority of the league thinks the Chiefs get all the calls, this graphic here from Robert Rimpson shows why the Chiefs themselves are frustrated about officiating this year. They have the 11th most penalties called, but the second worst net calls, meaning times they've been called in games versus their opponents, with a total of -23 and the third worst net yards of -176. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?